What's up, Suns Nation? We're back. The Valley Podcast, episode 2. Man, had a great game that we watched. The ass beating of a lifetime. It's about time that we're on the other side of one of these beat downs.
Whew.
Am I right? Am I right?
Absolutely.
If you guys are joining us at a later point, make sure to share this out to your friends. Tell them about us. We're new. It helps out and all that good stuff. So let's get into our intros. We have a guest today. He's my good buddy, Evan. He's been a Suns fan for a long time. What's up, my dude?
What's going on? That one right there.
Are you a Adidas fan or are you a Suns fan?
Adidas.
Hey, what's up, everybody, man? I'm Gabe. Good to see you guys. I don't know what I just watched. This is not the Suns team that I'm used to seeing of years past. So it's kind of weird being in this position, Salty.
Yeah, you remember when Eric Bledsoe wanted out of town and he tweeted that famous tweet, "I don't want to be here anymore." You guys remember that?
Let me tell you. So one of my notes here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
At 79 Suns, 47 Pelicans, I start to wonder if Bledsoe still doesn't want to be here. It's like not only do we have a great team that, hey, man, he could have been a part of it. He could have probably been the point guard. But, we got some new players that he would have liked to play with. But these new jerseys, this new court, the new feel of this.
The new arena.
Man, I'm so glad he's playing backup, basically, to Lonzo Ball. It feels good to be a Suns fan right now.
It does, man, and it's been a long, long, long time since we've felt this kind of, energy with the fan base. It's been 10 years of suffering, right? There was a joke out there on social media that James Jones, it only took him a year and a half to kind of fix a decade of screw-ups. We talked about it on the last podcast, but it's incredible what he's done. I mean, insane. Like, I have not seen a team this deep, because literally you go 1 through 10, it's a 10-man rotation. And you guys remember
11.
Even deeper than that. You guys remember the D'Antoni era when we were really good? What was one of the issues that we had, even that we had our starters that were fantastic, is the depth. You know what I'm saying? He had like a 7-man rotation, they'd get burned out. You guys remember that?
D'Antoni didn't really – the thing about him that he probably got in trouble in Houston for too is he doesn't even practice with his back 5 players. Like, he would just run his starters in practice to death, play them all game, and just say screw the rest of the team. I don't need backups. You had Leandro Barbosa, and wasn't Raja Bell starting?
No,
that might have been a 6-man team.
Yeah, not at the beginning. The beginning of it was just you had your Nash, your Amari Marion, Joe Johnson, Quentin Richardson, right? Off the bench, you had Leandro Barbosa, who was young. They traded for Jim Jackson. And who was your backup big? Jake Foshkull? Like that, I can't think of anybody else that actually got any playing time out of that, 7. And Jim Jackson didn't even have that much of anything when he came here,
Yeah. The main point is, I think in basketball, you guys know, like, it takes a full team to kind of be dominant. Like, there's some teams out there that had a big 2 or big 3 situation going on, like Boston or whatever. But you got to fill a full team. Like, you saw Miami get to the NBA Finals, and I mean, who's their star on that team? I mean, they only had one. Hero was kind of coming up there.
Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler,
obviously.
right?
And then Bam is your second one, but he's not a superstar, right?
Yeah.
He's just an all-star.
So I think that if you're going to compare the Suns to any team and like kind of potential-wise, I think that Miami's a good comparison because they didn't really have all these superstars. They had a full team, good rotation. Jay Crowder was on the team, which we'll talk about. But yeah, I think it's good stuff here. What did you guys think about the beginning of the game? I mean, Aiden, I know we don't want to talk about him again, but he pump faked a ghost. He had a wide open lane, and he went for a layup and he missed it, right? And I thought, hey, we're gonna have the same old going on here with Aiden, but he ended up turning it around. What did you guys think of that play? I mean, kind of,
Well,
let you go.
Just to start the game, I thought that was a horrible way to come out. I thought it's just a typical DeAndre Ayton type of play. I've been tweeting, the more I see Ayton, the less I want to see Ayton, and that was coming to fruition in the first quarter, along with Devin Book turning it over a few times. Chris Paul had 5 assists, but neither of them were getting it going. They had 2 points each in the first quarter. And so it was just, okay, great. Here we go again. Here goes DeAndre Ayton tipping everything. And then he did come into his own. Real quick, before we get on any farther, did you guys see what Javon Carter's mom tweeted out? Tweeted out an hour ago. The New Orleans Pelicans official account tweeted out and said, we don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Something along that with Eric Bledsoe, right? Javon Carter's mom quote tweeted it with the emoji.
That's funny, dude.
Yeah.
Hey,
circle.
Yeah, Gabe, what did you think about that Ayton play, man?
That Ayton play was typical, like you're saying, Evan. But aside from that play, why won't he dunk?
I don't know, man. He did one dunk today, didn't he? That putback.
Yeah, it was very soft. It was almost like, oh, fine. I guess since the ball's right on top of the rim, I'll slap it in. But that's the only reason. If it weren't, I'd tip it in off the backboard. It's like, I'm just going to bring that up every time. I won't go into it too much. I'm just going to bring that up every time. And I think there were 4 or 5 times that I said to myself, why aren't you dunking that? He had I think it was Lonzo posted up at one point, and he turned and flipped it in, and he's right under the rim, man. It's an easy jam. Like, I just don't get it. He looked winded, especially to start the second half. He's huffing and puffing. It's like, we're not in Denver anymore. You should be okay at this point.
Yeah. He's not taking his PEDs, so you got to cut him some slack.
Absolutely.
Shade.
Also, in the first half, he was getting beasted by Zion. Zion was just it was like a one-on-one match. It was fun to watch. I'm like, hey, here we go, Aiden versus Zion. I get to watch this. This is exciting.
Battle of number 1 picks.
Zion to the basket with ease. Zion to the basket. Ayton gets the ball, and he's looking desperately to pass it off to someone else so that he doesn't have the
desperately.
It does
desperately.
I didn't want to go at Zion. Didn't really want to guard him. He's not trying to block his shot. He's just trying. I don't know what he's trying to do.
So, real quick, we talked about this before. I tweeted it out. We're going to get off the Ayton thing because he actually had a pretty good game on the defensive side and rebounding and stuff.
But let me just say, and if you watch the game again, I think you'll notice this. It wasn't a spectacular, wow, Ayton played well. It was Ayton was in the right place at the right time a lot of times.
Yeah, so like putbacks and stuff.
He's just getting tip-ins. He just happened to be there. He scoops and scores. It wasn't like he was hitting shots. It wasn't like he was being aggressive.
Defensively, I think he did a pretty good job, and then he got his rebounds like he did, and then he went for that dive on the floor, which shows passion and energy. I think that it's on the up and up. But one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was Dario was finally back. I think that made a big difference with the rotation. What did you get? Let's start off with Gabe. What did you think about Dario's return here and how it impacted the rotation?
So he came out very sloppy, very rusty, tries to get to the rim, gets it stolen, puts up – actually, the very first time he touched the ball, he traveled, okay?
Yep.
Tries to swing from the three-point line and travels. But I expected that. What I didn't expect was for him to get rid of that rust by the second half. It was all gone, which was really exciting. And it just showed me – like I felt like that three-pointer at the buzzer, luck. That was luck. Like, Sark just not hit moving threes. I'm sorry. He just got a lucky buzzer. But the second half, he came out, and it was like the rust was gone. And he was Sark again. And it's like, I'm starting to think, if he's really healthy, we might be the 3 seed.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to put the carriage before the horse, but we'll talk about it, man. Uh, Evan, what'd you think? Dario coming back. Where do you put his importance for the team?
Dario Saric in the bubble has an argument to be the Phoenix Suns bubble MVP. There's an argument to be made for that. Cam Payne was amazing in the bubble, and Devin Booker with game winners and 20, 30 point or 30, 35 points a game, whatever it was. But when that second unit was out there without Dario these past 3 games compared to Dario this game, it is absolutely night and day. He is the heady player we absolutely have to have coming off the bench. Cam Johnson is amazing. Cam Payne is amazing. I'm a huge Cam Payne advocate, and anybody else coming off the bench, Langston Galloway, Javon Carter. But as far as smart, heady player and a perfect player in the 0.5 system, that's Dario Saric. He can come right in and post up almost any player. He can get rebounds for you. He's great when Ayton is in foul trouble, right? And if you just look at his aggressive rolls compared to what Ayton does, it's night and day. When Ayton rolls, he just rolls to roll. And sometimes he looks lost when he's going. When Dario Saric comes out there and he's running a pick and roll and he's rolling to the basket, he moves. He'll move back. He'll move forward. He'll get in the passing lane, something that Ayton obviously doesn't do. And then he rolls with real aggression to go hard to the basket. And it makes a lot of passes a lot easier. And then when he gets it, you saw it. How many times did he catch it at the elbow or at the free throw line and he's immediately passing the ball just within that 0.5 seconds, or he's perfect for the rotation. He'll be great as a starter. If we ever need spot minutes for an injury or back-to-backs or whatever, I think he's one of the key cogs, the top 3 or 4, definitely in the Suns rotation, but definitely off the bench.
Yeah. My thought process with Dar.
Do you guys think he's coming off the bench for sure this year, or do you think once he's healthy, he's gonna take that starting spot back?
Don't break the wheel, right? I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He is a guaranteed 16-8 coming off the bench when he's healthy, right? Going against 2s and backup centers, don't mess with it right now, right? Why? I mean, I don't think he'd be able to guard Zion like Crowder did today.
Honestly, Jay Crowder just has that pedigree. I don't think he's going to be removed from the starting spot. I know, Gabe, you talked about that a little bit with Cam Johnson's emergence and stuff like that. He has championship experience. He's just a winner. He chose us, took less money. I think he's solid there in that spot. Honestly, with the rotations the way that they are, I don't think it really matters if you're coming off the bench or if you're starting. It's just if you look at this team, they have good chemistry. They pass the ball around. We'll talk about the assists. They led the NBA in assists last year, and they're on target to just blow that away. The team just wants to win. They're unselfish. Cam Johnson's getting his points. He's coming off the bench. He was the second leading scorer yesterday, so it didn't really matter if he was coming off the bench or not. He's still putting up points, and the way our coach does the rotations, it kind of just doesn't really matter. So I think I think Dario's going to stay where he is. We're so deep though. Like if you look at our center spot, or
Jalen Smith didn't even play.
Yeah. So we're deep, man. There's some players that are on the bench that are not playing that legit would have been, rotation players on the bench last year or the year before, right? Like there's times before in other teams where you'd be like, shit, we're going to our bench. Like name a player, like some of the cringe players that we would go to, and they just suck ass. And any lead that we had that Booker put up in all those starters, if they got a lead, you go to your bench and that's going to dissipate. We don't really have that now. Here comes
Tyler Johnson blowing up threes, going 1 for 8. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it's just this year, it's not like that. It's like when we go to our bench, I almost expect the lead to go up because our bench is so much better than other benches, So I think that's I don't know. Props to James Jones. That's all I got to say, because he fixed a lot of the issues that we're having. One thing that I want to ask you guys is Zion. Okay, I haven't watched a lot of Zion. He got injured last year. Do you guys know what kind of injury he had? He was out for a while. Was it a knee injury? I think so. I don't know.
I can't remember.
Let me look. Keep talking. Let me look.
All right, Zion, very impressive to me. He looks like an alpha male. Obviously, he's a star, but I'm tired of ESPN and TNT sucking this dude off. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's the golden boy. That's why the Suns were on national television. It wasn't because of the Suns. It was the Zion effect. They want to put Zion on national television. They want to put Luka Doncic as much as they can. LeBron. They want to suck all these dudes off. They pick these certain players
With
they
the rookie
have to
head
have.
coach.
Yeah, and then we saw tonight that the league got out of hand. They're like, let's cut to another game. This is embarrassing. Our goal, like the announcers sound dejected.
Because they wanted Zion to win.
And that's going to change this year. I think that's really going to change with this team. He had a torn meniscus at the beginning of last year that kept him out 6 to 8 weeks. So it's a meniscus. That's tough to come back from. But
it's serious when you're as heavy as he is too.
Exactly.
He just won't lose weight, will he? He just won't do it.
But what I want to tell you guys is Zion, he's incredible, right? And he uses that weight to push people around. But I question the longevity of his career because he's already had a meniscus tear. He's heavy and he's carrying around that weight, and that's not good for your knees in the NBA. Do you guys see him having a shorter career based on the way he plays and his weight? Do you think that'll be a factor? Gabe, what do you think?
If it happened to Derrick Rose, why wouldn't it happen to him? I don't want it to happen. I want this guy to be a longevity having Sean Kemp. That would be amazing. But bro, he's laboring and he looks like it's tough. Just moving around. It's real like a football player. And the way he jumps and lands and goes so hard at the basket, that's going to take its toll, man. He's not like LeBron, where LeBron is chiseled. He's like a power lifter. He looks like a weightlifter.
I mean, you look at a Blake Griffin, Amari Stoudemire, guys that are high flyers and can throw it down and are athletic.
Much leaner.
Much leaner. I mean, Amari was 6'2". Zion's a little shorter than that. Zion's obviously thicker, but he's like a baby Shaq, right? That's kind of what he looks like. I mean, and Shaq was lucky, but he was never a high flyer, right? He was never doing crazy stuff to his knees like a Derrick Rose, right? So you look at Zion and how he trends and how he plays. It's not great unless he learns how to shoot that mid-range like Blake Griffin learned how to, like Stat learned how to.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch a lot of Zion because he got hurt, and I was kind of just focused on the Suns. But like watching him play, I was very impressed with his game. He does have some limitations, but I just, he's 6'6" and he's just beefy. You know what I'm saying? So
I love Zion. I do.
Zion's awesome, and hopefully he doesn't get injured. I don't wish this upon him, but meniscus tears they're not like ACLs or anything like that, but meniscus is like the stuff that's supposed to protect your knee. Once you get rid of that, then you got some issues like, Amari Stoudemire had to get that microfracture surgery because he had some issues with his knees. So I'm just like trying to do the math here. I'm like, this dude is big, and this guy is going hard to the rack like 80% of the game. If he loses his ability to do that and jump around, I don't know. It might be an issue. But it was fun to watch him on TV. I wasn't a fan of that. Like I said, the media bias is clear. Like the Suns don't have that media darling, a star that needs to be on television or needs to be talked about 24/7 on ESPN. So I don't know if they're going to get that pop because they have a good team. Like, was Miami, once they showed that they were winners and they were going to go to the finals and stuff, did you guys see them on national TV all the time? Or I didn't.
This is more like the Nuggets team, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is more like a Nuggets with a Jamal Murray and Jokic. Like, are they amazing players? Yeah. Are they just finally starting to get their respect? Yeah. Did they have the last 2 or 3 years? Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we'll see with all that, but like I said, with the amount of points that we ended up beating them by, do you guys remember a game that was on TNT that they cut to another one? I don't remember that happening, but
not because the Suns were winning, that's for sure.
If it was the Pelicans, they would have been like, well, it's an 80-point lead, but we're staying here with Zion, and then
because he might dunk.
Because then like continue to slob them off a little bit more.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
It was all pregame too, all pregame and all the first quarter. Even at halftime, when what were we up by halftime? We were up by almost 20 or 18 or something at that point. And Phoenix is up 64-48. Yada yada yada. First 5 clips, all Pels.
Yep.
Salty, you were saying that he's beefy, Zion. You know, he knows he's beefy. Ayton doesn't know what size he is, and you can see it in the way that they play. Zion plays like a beefy man that knows he's beefy. He knows he can move you. So does your favorite player in the NBA, Luka Doncic. He knows that he has enough weight to just push you towards the rim. Once you fall off of him a little bit, he just puts up a little floater because he's pushed you away. Zion knows it. Why doesn't Ayton know it? Did you see Ayton get a post-up opportunity against Jackson Hayes in the third quarter, in which he backs him down twice? Now, this is a man that weighs less than one of my legs, okay? And his entire 7-foot body, I think he weighs 100 pounds. And yet he looked like a brick wall when Ayton tried to back him down. 2 times. Brick wall. Oh, boy. Goes up, loses it, gets his rebound, tries to shoot, and gets blocked by this guy. He outweighs him by like a clear 75, 80 pounds, and he couldn't even move him on the block. I don't need Ayton to be a back-to-the-basket player, but I need him to be able to that's something I expect from Jalen Smith. A skinny guy named Sticks should be having a hard time backing down Jackson Hayes, not chiseled Ayton.
Yeah, he's the beta male in an alpha's body, unfortunately, and I don't know if that will ever change. One of the things, Brandon Ingram, wasn't he an all-star last year, or how'd that work out for him? He was most improved player.
Yeah, put in jail by who's that guy with the long arms on our team? Mikal Bridges. That's right.
Dude, it's not like a chance. It's not like by chance that this is happening. He guards Luka. All the announcers are like, "What's going on? What's wrong with Luka?" And it's like,
the question: Will he get his due respect? Because remember when PJ Tucker was doing that to everyone with a Suns uniform on, and he was D'ing up LeBron and giving him fits, and he was D'ing up Kevin Durant and giving him fits. Everyone just he was like the best defender that year. Didn't even get looked at. He might have been 13.
I think
hear that from McKay.
No, I think winning cures all, So what kind of wins were we getting when PJ was doing that? I think we were just losing, right? I mean, we weren't going to the playoffs.
We had that big win against the Indiana Pacers 2 times, right?
But they were losing. They're a losing team, right? I mean, in general. So you're not going to really get lots of accolades and stuff, unfortunately.
No. Plus, he's talking about when they had Paul George and when they had Roy Hibbert,
and they were the number 1 team in the East.
Everyone in the East, and we came in that year and just trounced them 2 games in a row,
like by 28 or 30 points or something.
Made them look bad. Made them pull them dudes off the court and just put in their backups because they were like, "There's no point." We had Dragic, right?
We had Dragic. Yeah. That was the Bledsoe, Miles Plumlee. Yeah.
Little Plum Dog.
Plumlee. Hey, so I think that Bridges will get the accolades because he already was people were talking about him. He's a young player. And I think people are they're gonna have to notice him because people were saying it was kind of like a Space Jam thing where he stole, stole some people's powers per se, maybe Booker, right? It's like people are like, well, damn, what happened to Bridges? Why is he all of a sudden just this all around player and then Booker's all timid, right? Not doing this stuff. Bridges he does not give a fuck when he shoots it. Like he's very confident, can drive it in, and then he locks people down. That's like his plus minus is crazy, man. I think he was like plus 40 or some something crazy, you know.
So Brandon Ingram to finish the night had 13 points on 6 of
Yep.
11 shooting and 6
Yeah,
rebounds, 6 assists.
he got locked up.
Minus 25, whereas Bridges was a plus 31. He led the whole team with a plus 31.
You love to see it.
Like, I mean, he locked up Luka. There wasn't really anybody to lock down for Sacramento, if you will. I would argue he should have been on Buddy Hield the whole time exclusively, but that's for another one. And to go back to your Ayton point, I mean, he was backing down De'Aaron Fox a whole bunch of times and would pass out of it. So
why draw a foul?
Do something.
Yeah.
But enough with the Ayton situation. What about Chris Paul and Booker, right? Again, Booker, this is probably the lowest scoring game he's had in years. And before, I think if the last time he scored under 10 points, we got slaughtered. I think we lost by way more than 20 points. But this time, Booker wasn't scoring points. He finished with 8. And people I didn't even notice he wasn't scoring. Honestly, I did because – he's Booker, but we were just killing him. So this speaks volume to how deep this team is, because Chris Paul, he had a bunch of assists, but he only scored 9 points. So your 2 all-star type players they get all this publicity had 8 and 9 points respectively, and we blew this team out. It wasn't even a contest. Evan, what do you think about the Devin Booker situation?
I think it was just the way the game unfolded, to be honest with you. They were trying to do pick and roll at the top of the key around the wing over and over and over again, right? They would try to force something that wasn't there. They would try to force a skip pass, and I don't know how many passes got tipped by Chris Paul like he was Kyler Murray back there getting passes tipped by a D-line, but so many were tipped.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon. But no, the point is, if they were playing great defense, they were playing off Chris Paul and Devin Booker just a little bit as he'd go around, and the dive man would be there, and they had help defense sagging on him, but they weren't, in close proximity completely denying it. They were just kind of playing soft on each of them, but they were in the space correctly, which led to how many backdoor cuts did you see? How many times did we pass out of it going to Saric again on the elbow? And then passing over to a 3. I think it's just the way that the game fell and the way the game plan went. I bet you their game plan was, let's stop Chris Paul and Devin Booker doing any type of pick and roll stuff down low, and let's make everybody else beat them. And look what happened. And I even tweeted that out early in the game. I said, look, if you're going to be playing this type of defense, you're going to have everybody else wide open. Let them meet. And that's exactly what happened tonight.
Gabe, what do you think, man? D-Book, less than 10 points. I mean, is it an issue? Obviously, we won. What do you think?
I watched him in the third quarter miss, I want to say 3 consecutive point-blank, wide-open threes. And I don't care. In fact, I'm happy. I'm happy, man. Think about it.
I'm thinking.
That never happens. So it's like, what, are we going to be mad at Book? No.
Yeah.
He's not. That never happens. It just was a bad night for him. His shot just wasn't going down. But like he said, when's the last time they cut away from a Suns game to go to something else because we were winning too hard? When's the last time the Suns were able to have Book be ice cold for an entire game, and yet we run them off the court? He wasn't needed. He could have sat tonight. And we might have won by more. That is awesome. That means we have a complete team plus Booker to come in and hit game winners and most of the time be unstoppable. We are a complete. That's why I'm saying we might be the 3 seed. Everyone's saying 4, 5. Man, Utah and the Nuggets, I think we're there. I might be jumping the gun. Somebody's got to jump the gun. All right? Somebody's got to say it.
I mean, I'm pulling up the standings right now. Clips 3-1, Suns 3-1, and the Kings 3-1. I really want to talk about the Kings because I know that we talked briefly. Well, we talked last night, Gabe, and you kind of said that you weren't a believer in the Kings, right? You thought that they weren't going to be a playoff team, but by what I'm seeing out of the Kings, those 2 games, I think they're gonna take some spot. Like the Kings, I think a lot of uh, other players that weren't there before are there. They had a good draft pick. They're playing really well. When they played against us that first game, they beat us. Then we took them to you took them to task there. But I think they'll be a playoff team. They beat the Nuggets tonight, which I think are going to take a step back. What do you guys think about the Kings? Like they cut to that game specifically. Evan, what do you think about the Kings, man?
Halliburton.
Hmm.
Halliburton is a beast, right? That he showed a lot. Buddy Hield can be an absolute flamethrower. De'Aaron Fox is quick as lightning. Their
Hmm.
inside game leaves a little bit to be desired, but if Marvin Bagley can actually play up to his potential, he's an absolutely scary player. Rashawn Holmes could be exactly what the team needs, you know. I think they've been losing for how long? You know, I'm sure they've got a little bit of hunger in them as well too, and they could definitely sneak up and take somebody's spot. It'll probably be Houston's once Harden gets traded, right? I don't think Denver, or not Denver, I don't think Dallas is as good as everybody's making them. I really don't. I could be proven wrong, whatever.
It's true.
Um,
Yeah.
Clippers, who knows? Lakers, who knows? Jazz, you know, the Jazz are tough. They are. They play to their strengths consistently. They're tough to beat, but when you get them out of rhythm, they're 100% out of rhythm. But you can say that about a lot of teams.
Yeah, it's a weird standings right now, and I like it actually because it's different than what it was. The Trailblazers beat the Lakers, the other night, so I think they're going to be
Blazers,
there.
Blazers are
I,
good.
I like Damian Lillard. I think the Lakers are going to take a step back. They won their Mickey Mouse ring over there in Orlando, but they made some changes and stuff like that. I think they'll be a difficult team, but I think they're beatable. The Clippers look like I don't know. They've improved and stuff. Gabe, what do you think, man? Real quick about the Kings. You still on that no playoffs thing? They're 3-1, man.
I never meant to make it seem like I didn't think that they could make the playoffs. I
Hmm.
think if the West wasn't so crazy this year, crazy talented, I think
Hmm.
that they could probably be a 5, 6, or a 7 seed. In
Hmm.
this year's West, they are fighting for the 8th seed. I could see them getting it. I could see them missing it, but I think they could get a 7 or an 8 this year. What I meant to say is I thought they were on our level because they beat us by 1 point. But the
Hmm.
turnaround the next night where we curb stomped them, I felt like they just got a lucky one. They will not beat us in a 7-game series, and they are not on our level. They're us a
Hmm.
couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. We talked about it, last podcast about the standings, and we'll update it as we go with, as the season progresses, things change. Who knows what's going to happen? It's early in the season, but some things are starting to take shape. Mavericks are 1-2. Thunder made the playoffs last year. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. Ja Morant just got injured with the Grizzlies. They're one
Oh,
and two. The
hate to see
Nuggets.
that with Ja. Hate that with
Yeah,
Ja.
what's up?
How injured?
He tweeted out that he'll be back, but he had to be wheeled off in a wheelchair, so some kind of ankle injury, I think. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with
Like
that.
regular wheeled off or Paul Pierce wheeled off? Because
No, it was
there's a
he didn't have to take a shit. Like he actually
Grade
was
2
injured.
ankle sprain, and I've had, Nate, I've had, or
Yeah,
Salty, I've had plenty of sprained ankles like that. Grade 2, ankle,
yeah,
2 to 4 weeks, and that could be day to day.
yeah. And then
poor guy.
it could be lingering as well. So we'll see with them. Pelicans were kind of put up there, and I don't
No,
see it. I don't see it with them. The Warriors look like trash. They're 2-2. The Timberwolves are the Timberwolves. They're 2-2.
and Carl
Uh,
Anthony
you
Towns
know,
is out for a while with a dislocated wrist.
Yeah, so like I said, there's some spots in there to be filled. Like I don't see the Rockets. The Rockets are 0-2. They made the playoffs last year. I don't see them there. The Thunder won't be there. The Nuggets took a step back. The Mavs made it last year. They're going to take a step back. So we'll see, man. I think the Suns could legit be 3, 4, 5 somewhere in there. Depending how it shakes out.
I thought we were gonna be the 5 going in with a potential to get to 4, but I mean,
Can I say something crazy?
Yes.
Crazy.
What's up?
I think we're better than the Clippers. And I think we could be the 2 seed.
I'm not going to say that you're not wrong. I can't say that you're wrong, dude, because this is the deepest team I've seen. So until we take a step back, like until we have some kind of a setback, like I can't say that we're not super talented. And based off of like what people are saying when they see this team, like experts, typically when I watch a Suns game, they just talk shit about the team. When you play NBA 2K, it's just talking shit about the team. They're like actually shocked at how good this team is. Like you listen to the broadcast, for the Kings, they were legitimately like being like, it's okay, Kings, this team's really fucking good, so it's okay that they beat your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, this team is deep. I mean, it's not a bad thing to lose to them. So I think that the national media is like saying, hey, this team is like legit. So I don't know.
Well, real quick, you remember the first year with Nash? We went 28-4, started off and went crazy, right? Nobody believed in us at the beginning. Absolutely nobody. And then once we got on that 28-4 run to start the season, everything completely changed. And that was within, back then you're starting at the end of October, if I'm not mistaken. So you're a good 2.5 months through the season. You're into January at that point. And then everything just took off for them at that point. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go 28-4. But I'm a one game time. I hate seeing we're gonna go to the 2 seed or the 3 seed or something. We need to beat the Jazz on Thursday. That's a big litmus test for this team. Huge, absolutely huge game. Yeah. You can't get blown out if you want any sort of respect. You can't go out and shoot another 9 for 44 from 3-pointers. You can't have Book going with 6 turnovers. I'm really curious to see what Ayton is or is not going to do against Gobert, who's just as soft as Ayton, just longer and taller, right? But looking through the schedule in January, you have a lot of games you can go down there and be like, that's a dub, that's a dub, that's a dub.
Yep, they got a back-to-back with the Nuggets in January.
At the end of January.
Yeah, they play the Warriors, the Hawks, Wizards, Pistons, Raptors.
Pacers twice. Yeah.
Is there any team in the NBA you would say, man, the Suns are outmatched, they can't win that game? There's nothing. There's not a team. I mean, Brooklyn maybe. I mean, Brooklyn I think is a pretty damn good team, and they're deep. They got superstars, and they got a deep team. So, I mean, if any team I was going to say,
Dinwiddie just went down with a torn ACL.
Oh, really? Holy shit! I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's out for the year. So I mean,
they're slightly less dangerous now, for sure.
Slightly less. Kyrie and KD, but I'm a big advocate in not resting your damn players like they always freaking do, like Kawhi does, for load management, because it puts all of your load on the rest of the team to carry everybody throughout the whole damn season when that's supposed to be your job as the damn superstar, right? Yeah. So I think load management is an issue, and you saw it with the Clippers last year. They just kept taking games off, and they had no continuity. So you just don't know. You just don't know. They look like world beaters, and then they just lost to the Hawks or the Grizzlies. I forget who they just lost to. So you never know.
But there's not a team that you would say, hey, we can't beat them. So that's a good thing. I mean, going into it, we're not any other Suns team. I'd be like, if we were playing, let's just say last year, if we were playing the Lakers, more than likely you thought that was a loss, or like the Clippers. Yeah. More than likely you thought that was a loss, or the Nuggets, or this and that. But like with this team, I don't say that about any team in the NBA, and that speaks volumes to where this team's at, because I think they can hang with anybody. I think they can compete. So, let's see here.
Salty, I just looked ahead on the schedule for the Suns, and we've got Brooklyn on February 16th for the first time. That's going to be a big game. I can't wait to see Mikal versus Kevin Durant.
Oh, wow. You just broke that out. That is must-see TV. And if we're playing the way we should play, there's potential that we're going to be able to.
Can he make him look normal?
Right.
That'd be crazy.
And remember, the second half of the schedule hasn't even been released yet. So if we're doing good, we're going to get on a lot of national television games towards the end of the season.
Yeah, man, it's shaping up pretty good, honestly. I don't know. Like, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about from the game? I think I've touched upon a majority of the notes. The Suns, like I said, to give you an example with their team assists last year, they led the league in assists, and then they got Chris Paul. In their win over the Kings, they had 34 assists, and then the Pelicans tonight, they had 24 assists. So they're doing good. And then what about Monty Williams potentially being the new Popovich type coach in the NBA? People are kind of giving him that praise. He's got to do stuff.
That was one of my notes, man. This Suns team passes exactly like the championship Spurs. No better, no worse than the way the Spurs pass the ball. They are more than willing to give their friend and teammate a three-pointer. They are not taking shots because they want shots. They're taking them because they're open and they're supposed to take them.
And aren't you seeing Booker being a little more – I mean, he's always had the point book, right? He's always had that. But especially tonight, I saw him passing it a little bit more willing and not getting frustrated about it. Or even when he's on the other side of the court and they're doing it, he's going back. And I did see a little more tenacity on the defensive end from Book when he was guarding Lonzo too, just, for what it's worth.
Yeah, he was swarming Lonzo. He's probably just very happy. He's like, man, if you guys want to carry me for once, who am I to stop you? He's been carrying this franchise for years now. It's about time that they carry him for one game.
Yep. No, but I'm super happy with our coach, man. He's so good, and they have that new practice facility, which is like a gym. They've all been talking about it. They can basically live there. The arena's the arena's brand new. Basically, they got the renovations done faster because nobody was there. They didn't have any events in there, so they're able to get that done. It looks fantastic with the new court. I'm in love with the new jerseys that they had, the Valley. That
they look so clean tonight on that floor. Yeah. They look so fresh.
They look like a 9 out of 10 in pictures, and they're a 10 out of 10 on screen when they're wearing them with the shorts. Man, and that
you saw them running sideways with the how I don't know what the colors were doing. It was just perfect.
They need to change that court permanently to this Valley court. I don't want to see. I like the other Suns bright orange court. No, this is the court. These are the jerseys. Get white versions of these if you have to. Get orange versions of these. This is the look.
Everything. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I was my first number one favorite Suns jersey is that black one back in the day, the 93 or what was
the Sunburst.
Sure.
Yeah, so that
wearing that hoodie the other night, yeah.
So that's like top for me, but like this one, this was close, dude. I mean, this one.
We haven't had any since then that are as good. The Nash era jerseys were garbage or straight trash. I love the old school Phoenix with that font, right? The old school 70s, 80s with that, little font. Like that's classic. I love it. But as fresh as this and all of the gear that comes with it with this logo, no, man.
I'm gonna be a poor man. I'm gonna be spending some money. Not to mention Salty. The last game that I saw in here, March 2nd, a day before my birthday on the 3rd. I normally come out to Phoenix for my birthday and we go to the game. All three of us this year. Guess who they play on the 2nd?
Who?
Your second favorite player in the NBA, LeBron.
The Mavericks.
Oh. No, that's his first favorite player. Second favorite player, LeBron James and the Lakers. So let's just pray up to James Jones. that fans are allowed by March, and we will be there watching that bald-headed idiot go up against Book.
LeBron James.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's good times, man. It's been a long time, 10 years, man. You put that in perspective, a decade of losing is just, it kind of does, it takes a toll on you as a fan, and like to know how passionate that we all are, all three, you know. It just feels good. It feels like this never was going to happen. Like we were watching some of the schmucks that we've watched over the years. I mean, who's some of the worst players that we've had to sit through? I mean,
Mike
in the
James.
last 10 years.
You didn't like Mike James? Man, I thought for what he was, for being undrafted, he would come in there and put up buckets. And then he was gone.
Not W's, though.
Not W's. He was taking shots away from Book, and you could see Book like, does this guy know who I am? And then he was gone the next day. But he was putting up buckets for us. And then they sent him to Indonesia to play.
I mean, he had a nice jump shot, I guess, but clearly isn't NBA talent in anything that he does, or it'd be on a roster. But you just look top to bottom. I mean, the first year without Nash, when you bring in the mighty Luis Scola, you still had Gortat. You brought in the big free agent signing of Michael Beasley, all the way to drafting Alex Len, but Miles
the savior,
goddamn center,
the savior,
Jesus.
The savior of the Suns, Kendall Marshall,
Isaiah Cannon. Remember that, dude?
We're not going to do dueling Gambos on here, like on the Gambo and whatever show.
Eli Jacobo, garbage.
I'm so glad we got rid of Jacobo. That dude is a fraud, a French fraud.
Taking up huge minutes and just sucking. Like
they wanted him to be good so bad.
Dragon Bender.
This dude's not even in the NBA anymore. Marquise
big
Chris.
Free agent signing Tyshawn or Chandler, right?
Yeah.
How much money did we give him? So Aldridge
Tyson Chandler was garbage and washed up.
You know, Ryan McDonough is lucky he didn't get JFK'd, man.
Like, he was just so bad.
Decisions made the Morris
twins, bro. Like, how garbage were they, dude?
But I even remember Suns Twitter blowing up when we would trade the likes of Reggie Bullock. Well, what are you doing for the second round pick, or when we traded TJ Warren? And everybody, like, what was the main story when the Pacers played the Suns in game 2 or game 3 of the bubble? Oh, they gave him up for cash. And then what happened? Mikal Bridges guarded his ass.
Remember
That's why we got rid of you.
Remember we'd always get the stepchild or like the brother that couldn't play. We got
Blake
Seth
Griffin's
Curry,
brother.
Blake Griffin's brother. We joked about
the Dragic brothers.
We were joking about Dragic that they're gonna find some dude in like Slovenia or wherever he's from, and
even
pull him out
Lopez.
of the Lopez twins. We get the worst one of them. It's like, it was a joke. Like, I mean, this 10 years has been a comedy. If you look at these rosters, you're like, wow. This is Zoran Dragic. I forgot about that, dude. Deontay Christmas was on our team. Like, look at these guys.
Don't bring up Lloyd Christmas.
I know, man.
Archie Goodwin, Gabe's favorite player.
Definitely don't bring up Archie.
Wow.
Do not bring up Archie.
We had 4 Kentucky Wildcat guards with Brandon Knight and Jesus.
Dude, Archie Goodwin and Josh Jackson, I think, are the same person.
And Andrew Wiggins.
Michael Redd was making his comeback on the team in 2011.
In his 18th year and on his 3rd surgically reattached foot.
And he was still our best shooter.
And they're like, can you believe he's even playing? It's like an Alex Smith situation. And we're like, we'll bring you in. How much money do you need?
The beginning, the mark to this 10 years of suckage was when Sarver became the GM and signed Josh Childress and Hedo Turkoglu instead of Amari. That was the mark of the 10-year shit fest.
Hey, did you guys hear the All the Smoke podcast when Amari Stoudemire was on, what Robert Sarver did to him? He came up to Amari during this time, and he was like, "I can replace you with anybody. You can be out of here in a second."
Wow.
Amari's just like, "What? You're saying that to me? You're saying that to me?" Matt Barnes comes in. He's like, "Who said that?" Robert Sarver said that. Matt Barnes just immediately goes, "Man, Sarver's a bitch. Sarver is a straight bitch."
He is, man. I heard some stories about him where he would use, like, he was telling people when they were stocking the vending stuff for, like, the concession stands, where he would get off-brand soda because it was cheaper. And he's like, a penny saved. Like, this dude is, like, cheap as fuck.
Don't tell me he's, like, serving that in the soft drinks at the stadium.
I swear to God, I heard that rumor, dude.
No.
What a piece of shit.
I
hate Robert Sarver.
I promise I heard that, dude, on the low key.
Well, let's just hope that they ball out this year, improve that value, and he sees that value, and eventually he
sells that
sell
bitch.
Yeah.
Hey, Devin Booker's dating that Kardashian chick. She's worth $1 billion, right? Have her buy it.
No comment.
No comment.
Let's get him away from her before it's too late.
But I don't know, man. It's been a good episode, guys. You know, we pretty much broke it all down.
Real quick, looking at the trajectory of this team and where we are now, can you foresee this team being a buyer at the trade deadline?
I don't think they need to with their depth, but if a star is available, I don't know, man. You could fuck with the chemistry and stuff. I would say no. I don't think they need to. What about you guys?
I mean, somebody like Cat is available, right? I mean, I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is going to be available, but we don't know which star is going to be out there. I just thought about that tonight and seeing where we're going and maybe adding that one extra piece, and who knows who it could be. If anything, right now, I'd say center because DeAndre Ayton's not going to want to – he's going to want a big contract, and I don't want to give it to him.
Mm-mm.
Well, yeah, DeAndre's going to – his contract's going to come up at the same time, around the same time as Bridges, and, you know.
I got a dark horse trade.
What's up?
Okay. So it's
Hassan Whiteside.
Oh, Lord. It's mid-season, okay? Things are going well, but Chris Paul just, it's just the same as it is now, where it's like, yeah, he's Chris Paul and he's good and everything, but he's kind of
production.
Yeah. And we package him with – now, don't laugh at me because I know James Harden is fat right now, but bro put up 44 and 17 the other 2 nights ago. Fat. YMCA playing fat boy style. Just like, here's 44 and 17. Get out of my face. Imagine if this dude was healthy and wanted to play. Could you imagine us getting, Ayton, Chris Paul, and
you'd have to give up a Cam Johnson or something like that too.
I don't know.
Right? That's the only person I'd be interested in going after.
I don't know about James Harden. He's a ball hog.
Is he though?
You got to keep in mind we have a 0.5 second offense. That ain't James. James is ice.
Nah, he's too ball dominant. He's selfish. He makes dumb the decisions he's making in the off season, going to clubs and shit. Like, no matter what kind of points he's been putting up,
he doesn't be there at all. He's acting out. He's trying to get fired.
He plays the same position as Booker. Like,
I wouldn't risk that shit.
I would not fuck with any of that. Like, go.
I like where your head's going.
Do what you're doing. I mean,
that's why I said dark horse.
A power forward. I don't know if there's any out there that would be available. Like, that would be enticing.
I got a big one for you. What about like a Sasha Vucevic from?
Oh, I'd love him
from Magic, right?
But you'd have to trade like Saric for him. And would you rather have him than Saric?
Yeah.
I mean, he is better.
I mean, but if you're packaging a Saric and Ayton for a guy like Vucevic, I don't think I would do that. I would want definitely something in return.
Too much. That's way.
But I mean, a player like that,
Aaron Gordon and Vucevic for the two of them.
You're we're in a good spot right now, and I would not mess with the chemistry, dude, until you need to.
No, you're
Like
completely right.
Keep it.
I would
Keep
just
as close to the
keep doing
bubble
what you're
Suns
doing,
as
man.
you can.
Yes, but winning teams make winning moves. And if the trade deadline comes up and there's somebody out there, like a Rasheed Wallace was back in the day for the Pistons, right? They were right there. They added Rasheed Wallace, and it was done. It was done for like 2 or 3 years, and they won that ship, right? If there's that player out there, you got to
Yeah, I
seriously
mean, it's
consider
got to
it.
be like a difference maker, not some kind of role player, I think we're
Yeah,
deep
for
enough
sure.
to not mess with that. But like if a superstar came available, then you have to, you got to go down that road because that doesn't happen that often. I think that we're that deep to do it, but we'll see, man. We just got to be along with the ride. We're not used to winning. Obviously, it's a 10-year
Good.
ride, so it's going to
Yeah.
be a long. It's going to be a good season, man. It's going to be shorter than normal, right? How many games were? It's like 70 something. They're doing.
72 games, and we've played 6%, or is it like 5% of the schedule already through 4 games? So it'll go by fast.
It's gonna go by fast, and we're gonna, do these episodes, and hopefully, you guys catching this on the replay. You guys could hit that like button, subscribe. We'll tweet it out. Follow us on Twitter. We'll have all that information there. But let's get to our outros. Let's start off with our guests. Evan, where can people find you, man?
On Twitter at Coach Evan B as in boy. Go ahead, follow me on there. I have horrible Suns takes, horrible Cardinals takes. I don't even know if I follow the D-backs anymore, considering how horrible they've been. Horrible Arizona State takes, and don't you dare slander my timeline with any U of A nonsense. 70-7.
It was good to have you on, man. We'll have to
Thank
have you
you.
on again, man. Gabe, where can people find you, man?
Man, I'm not on Twitter too often, honestly, but I think I'm going to be on it a little bit more. You guys can find me, as you can see right here, at Suns, Bears, Skurs. That's Chicago Bears, as in potentially playoff Chicago Bears. If your cards can help me out and just do me one little solid and get a nice little.
Can you mute him, Salty?
No.
Can you mute him?
I'm asking politely. I'm asking very nicely for y'all to lose. Because I do feel like the Cardinals deserve this playoff more than the Bears at this point, and then Huskers. But yeah, I really am just talking about Suns on there. But yeah, man, thanks you guys. It was a great podcast. Can't wait for the next game. Who'd you say it was?
Thursday, the mighty Utah Jazz.
They beat us up in the preseason. Is it in Phoenix, please?
Ooh, good question. I live in Salt Lake, so unfortunately I can't get it on NBA TV because I know that's what it's on, and I have to watch the crummy Jazz broadcast. It's going to be terrible. It's at the Jazz, so let's go.
That sucks because
road game. Let's go.
They don't ever have their wind when they're in Utah.
Nobody has their wind in Utah.
I know, and we need it against Gobert's never-ending arms. You think McHale has long arms? Only person with longer arms is Gobert.
Pop it out to the 3. Mike Conley can't guard anymore. Joe Ingles can't guard anymore. Donovan Mitchell's an absolute monster. Pop it out for the 3 just like we were doing. And then you're going to find a lot of backdoor cuts going up again. And the second Gobert comes out and our second unit comes in, they've got Jordan Clarkson and Derek Favors. We've got a lot of young guys, so watch. Monty is going to go quick on his substitutions, I bet. Guys are going to get in for 4 or 5, maybe 6 minutes, and then they're going to come out. Expect potentially a Langston Galloway 15, 18-point game with nothing but threes, right? So it's going to be a good one on the road, and I think Utah can actually let a few fans in there, so there might be a little bit of an opposing crowd.
Yeah, Utah doesn't care about having crowd. I saw one of their games. They did have a crowd there, so it should be interesting. So Utah is next. You guys said it was Thursday, which is New Year's Eve. So we'll see whether or not there's a show or not. Stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. It's Suns. What is it? Suns Valley Pod, I think, are at there, the Valley Podcast. But that's it for episode 2. We're out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the subscribe button, share it out. Catch you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.